Yo, what's going on, guys? And tonight I want to talk about Malachi Flynn dropping 50 points in 34 minutes off the bench. He's one of three players to ever score 50 points off the bench, second most behind only Jamal Crawford, who had 51 on, April 9th, 2019, a little over 5 years ago. And he's tied with Nick Nurse as a guy. Malachi Flynn did this on 72% from the field, 18 of 25. I watched the game on crunch time. I don't know if you guys watched that on League Pass. It's actually kind of fun. Good way to watch all the games, like someone myself. Dude, he was 5 of 9 from 3-pointers. We're talking about, he did this stuff through the mid-range, attacking the rim. All right, he got to the free throw line. It was wild. Now, granted, what was the outcome of the game? It was a loss, but I think it just goes to show Malachi Flynn is a basketball player. And I've always loved his game, especially when he was coming out of San Diego State. And it was due to the fact that I thought he was going to be like a high level. I thought he could have been like the second coming of like Tyus Jones kind. And I know it wasn't the same player, but that type of arc, like high, probably the best backup point guard in the league, could be a good starting. And he's a guy who I think it's more been opportunity based why he hasn't broken out. This is a guy who has the skill to be an NBA player. I mean, look what he did tonight. Okay. And I know we're in an era that everybody's playing, scoring 50 burgers, but guys off the bench don't do this. And I think this year, finally, where he has actually gotten an opportunity to play 61 games, which is the most games in his career, as well as just constant opportunity. We're seeing a guy in Malachi Flynn who's having the best season of his career. Combined this season, I believe if we don't count tonight's game, he is they would say 4.5. It sucks that I have to say that, but 4.5 point per game scorer. But he's definitely more. And I think his best stats are obviously the ones with the Pistons as of late. Malachi Flynn's just an absolute phenom tonight. And that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts. If you're a Pistons fan, do you think he's somebody that should stay, or should he go to a different team? I think he's a guy who might have some suitors, but he's averaging 8 points, 2 rebounds, just under 2 assists in 18 games so far for the Pistons, 13 minutes a night only, and shooting 48.6%. And he's just showing that he's super efficient. And what does he bring to the table is just an even keelness, a guy who can do a little bit of everything. He's not big at all, but he can be a micro, kind of like a Monte Morris almost, in terms of just being able to be a spark plug, can do a little bit of facilitating, and he can be outful. I think he's a good pick and roll ball handler, a guy who can make the right passes, and he's gotten better at making the safe passes, got a great stroke, and knock down jumpers off the dribble, pull up, whatever you need. And he tries on defense, not great at it, but he has good feet, but he'll get bullied by bigger players, and obviously small stature and lengthwise, and doesn't obviously defend the paint, but he's good at scoring, and I think he's a good, option off the bench. So I think he showed this, and either Detroit's going to have him for a while, or he's going to go out and get paid this summer as I think a good backup. What do you guys thought? Do you guys agree with me? Am I a bit overzealous? But I do like what we saw tonight, and it was fun. Again, he's up there with Jamal Crawford, Nick Anderson, and I thought it was a cool story. So let me hear your opinions down below in the comment section. And am I just dumb for thinking this, or do you guys agree with me that this is a cool little thing that we found out? But yeah, I'm out here. Bye, guys. I thought this was going to be where we ended the video, but I wanted to add a few more tidbits to what had happened tonight. And if you didn't know this, but the 50 ball is the most by a bench player and the 8th most by any player in Detroit's history. Okay, it's the second most, like I said earlier, off the bench. Now, Malachi Flynn said after the game, it's tough to put in perspective, but what else? Because he want to win, but it definitely feels good. He added that it's the first 50-point game of his career. If you guys didn't know, he came to the Pistons via trade. He was a first-round pick, and he joins the likes of Corey Brewer, Sadiq Bey, and Tony Delk as obscure players to enter the 50-point club. Now, tonight, Kay Cunningham was out and James Ivey struggled, and hence why we saw our man go out there and cook. So that's just a little stuff I wanted to add.